Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I will be showing you my Blu-ray collection. I don't know if I've ever showed you my 4K collection, but that's not this video. There's another video that will be up sometime showing you my 4K collection. But right now I'm only going to be showing you my Blu-ray collection. So let's start it off with Michael Caine's Is Anybody There? So there it is. There is my Blu-ray collection here. Is anybody there? Like I just said, there it is. I got this one. I don't know if this is a real movie, but I wasn't really a fan of this because it's just all in Asian. I mean, it's all that, I think it's all Chinese, is what this movie is. So Miramax multi-feature. Jackie Chan's greatest movies, or 4 movies, which was Operator Condor 2, Project A, and Project A #2, which is not my favorite. I think this was like one of his worst movies. 4 movies. Don't know if that's true or not. Freebirds is here. A laugh, riot, and high frying fun. So Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson, and Amy Poehler did this movie. Hopefully you guys get to see that. There it is. I have Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze, and Jennifer Grey. There it is. Then I got John Travolta, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Don Cheadle, Swordfish, Password Accepted. There it is. So most of these they already have some of these already have a 4K, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the 4Ks of these, but I hope so. Then we have The Domestics with Kate Bosworth and Tyler. I'm not gonna butcher the name. Tyler, whatever. This one. I got this one, and I gotta say it's horrible. Not even close to Mad Max. If you watch Mad Max is way better. This sucks. Then I have Mrs. Doubtfire in Blu-ray, which still has a sticker of $5.99, which I cannot take off the sticker because then it'll ruin the movie. So there it is, Blu-ray. Hopefully they do come out with the 4K version, but I heard that they're probably not coming out with the 4K version at all, ever. So there it is. You guys get to see it. Classic movie. Very good. This one, Horrible Bosses. Here you go. Everybody knows Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, Jason Sudeikis, Jennifer Aniston, Colin Farrell, Kevin Spacey, and finally, Jamie Foxx. There you go. It says it's the totally inappropriate edition. So there it is. You guys get to see that. There it is. Funny, great movie. The next movie, don't know if... Okay, next movie is Keanu, from the visionary minds of Key and Peele. There it is. I didn't find this to be that great. There's a lot of good stuff in it, but there's a lot of stuff that was just missed. So it's not amazing. And we all know that Key and Peele stole from Dave Chappelle. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows Dave Chappelle was #1. Then Key and Peele came out, and their comedy sketches were just basic Dave Chappelle. My favorite movie is Boys in the Hood, Best Buy exclusive. I think I saw the 4K version, which I didn't get the 4K version, but if I find the 4K version again, I will get it this time. Boys in the Hood. Another one of my favorite movies, other than Shutter Island, is Leonardo DiCaprio's The Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street. There you go. Wolf of Wall Street. A movie that I wasn't really all that into, but I kind of say it's pretty good for, I think, for one of his better movie. I don't know if it was his first movie that he had as a as the as an actor, as the main character, but it's not bad. Eugenio Derbez, instructions not included. There it is. You guys could watch it. You let me know if you liked it or not. It's not great. But it's better than I expected. Michael Douglas and Diane Keaton's, uh, and so it goes. There it is. I have to say it's not great. It's pretty bad. This is a pretty bad movie. It's a comedy, romance, but it sucks. The one that I felt was really, really bad from Denzel Washington was Crimson Tide. So as you guys can see, some of these are very old. There it is, Crimson Tide. Uh, I forgot. It's Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. Not a great movie at all. Another movie I was surprised that it wasn't great at all either was Steven Seagal's Contract to Kill. War Has No Borders. There it is. I think Steven Seagal has just been making movies just for the money. Not really because it's some crazy stuff. Daredevil season what? Season second season. I could not find season 1 at any Best Buy or at any Walmart or anywhere. So I only got season 2, which I didn't seek out season 1 on I think on Amazon or somewhere. There it is. There it is. And then I think they have the Daredevil movie with Keanu Reeves, I think it was, or Ben Affleck. It's between those two, and I never got it. But Blu-ray. Jessica Jones, the complete first season, which we all know this is all Netflix. So there it is. I have to say this one wasn't that incredible either, but interesting because it could tie in with the Daredevil, with the Punisher, with what's the other one? The Defenders. That's how they did it with the Defenders. But all of this got all canceled. So, eh. Next one, I found this one was great. Was a great movie for Benedict Cumberbatch. So we got Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Rachel McAdams, Benedict Wong, Mads Mikkelsen, and Tilda Swinton. I think I've heard of Tilda Swinton. Forget what movie she was in. She's been in many movies, and I think I've seen her, Tilda Swinton. And the movie is Doctor Strange. So it's not 4K, but I hope I can find it in 4K. I think when I got this, 4K wasn't really that big of a deal. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great movie though. It's got a lot of Inception, or yeah, kind of like Inception stuff in it. So it's pretty it's a good movie compared to other movies. This is pretty good. I got Dimensions Extreme. Quentin Tarantino presents Hell Ride, written and directed by Larry Bishop, Matson V. Jones, Carradine Hopper, The Rebellion Against All There Is. I gotta say, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. If you thought Pulp Fiction was horrible, this is worse. But if you thought Pulp Fiction was good, then this is still worse. So it depends. If you like Pulp Fiction, this is good. I mean, if you like Pulp Fiction, this is horrible. If you didn't like Pulp Fiction, then you'll know that this is horrible. So don't have high hopes for this if you ever get around to seeing this movie. I'm not a fan of Quentin Tarantino, but people can have their opinions, because I'm not a huge fan of I'm not a huge fan of Pulp Fiction, but there's some memorable stuff in Pulp Fiction, so I gotta be honest. There's just memorable stuff in Pulp Fiction, but doesn't mean to me that it's a great movie. So Horrible Bosses 2, the extended cut. I have to say this is definitely worse than this is definitely worse than Horrible Bosses number 1. If you haven't seen it, this is worse. Very horrible. The Interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen, the Freedom Edition. From the Western capitalist pigs who brought you Neighbors and This Is the End. This, some people thought it was funny. Some people thought it was horrible. Some people thought it was just way too silly. And in my book, it goes with Pineapple Express. I found it to be very, very funny. Interesting for what it is. I'm not saying it's the best movie, but it's definitely a great movie, in my opinion. If you didn't like it, that's fine. But in my opinion, it's a great overall comedy. Very interesting. Was it worth the hype? Probably not. The hype that they were trying to cancel it from theaters because of North Korea. But I feel like no, it wasn't. I thought it was great, but not the hype that they were giving it. Next, we got Ben Stiller's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Here you go. I'm not a huge fan of Ben Stiller because like most of his comedy stuff is not funny. I feel like he's bland because in most of his comedies, like Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers and Little Fockers, I felt like it was all Robert De Niro and everybody else around him that made the movie amazing. It wasn't Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller's just eh. And this one was great. I was surprised how great this was, especially the cinematography in this movie was incredible. Incredible cinematography, out of this world. You should watch it and you'll see the cinematography is amazing. I got this at Best Buy, and I never I never actually got the rest of the seasons because I would have to say that Best Buy was getting rid of their movies, which they still are. It just have like one section already or two sections with movies because they're still pushing that digital media, which is gonna fail sometime. I guarantee it's going to fail. Which is Dragon Ball Z Season 1. Here it is. I watched it. Great. I love Dragon Ball Z. But I haven't gotten all the other seasons because I can't find them. And I don't want to pay ridiculous prices on Amazon. To be honest, I'm not looking for ridiculous prices on Amazon. I think this is the very, very first movie I ever got, which is Mel Gibson's Apocalypto. No one can outrun their destiny. It's pure adrenaline, beyond high definition, whatever that is. But here it is, the very first movie I ever got it in Blu-ray. Here it is. Great movie if you haven't seen it. Great movie. There's a lot of stuff you can say about Mel Gibson, but still a great movie. You may hate the man, but I love his movies, to be honest. Some of his movies are great. No, you can hate him, but you can still like his movies. Jason Statham, Patty Considine, and Aidan Gillen. And this movie is Blitz. Never got around to seeing this because every time I watch it, I just feel like it's going to be boring. I don't know if it's good or not, but I will watch it and I'll let you guys know what I think of it. I've always watched this, I always put this movie in my player, but never watch it because I always think it's going to be boring. I'm like, I'd rather watch something else. So there it is. So it's Cop Killer versus Killer Cop. So there it is. The movie that I wasn't really expecting uh, uh to be as boring as it is this movie that was created or produced by Armando Christian Perez, which is Pitbull, is Luis Guzman and Edgar Garcia, Puerto Ricans in Paris. No rules, no mercy. This one. This movie is worse than I thought. It is horrible. The worst movie I've ever seen. A movie that is already out in 4K, and I'm definitely going to watch this movie in 4K when it comes out, is J.J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg, Super 8. Not my favorite movie. There was too much hype. The only reason I got this movie, which I didn't get the slip cover, because sometimes Amazon and eBay are messed up and they don't send you the slip cover. But this movie wasn't. I mean, this movie was good, but I don't think it was a Stranger Things kind of before this movie would have been a Stranger Things sort of uh liking. I mean, like I want to say predecessor. Like this, I don't think. I think Stranger Things is still better than this, and this is the movie, and Stranger Things is a TV show, and I think the TV show did better than this. I don't like the ending. The ending was just pretty lame, but that's just me. So all the hype that they were giving this movie, I have to say, I didn't see the hype. I didn't see it at all. The next movie that I just mentioned earlier, and it's not my favorite movie, even though it got 7 Academy Award nominations, winner for Best Writing. John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Amanda Plummer, Maria de Medeiros, Ving Rhames, Eric Stoltz, Rosanna Arquette, Christopher Walken, and Bruce Willis. A Quentin Tarantino film. Pulp Fiction. Memorable stuff in this movie, so don't get me wrong. There's a lot of memorable stuff in this movie, but it is still boring to me. It is still a very convoluted story. Very convoluted, which I had to look it up on the internet of what this movie is about, because you see one scene, then you get another scene, like completely different to the previous scene or the previous chapter, and then everything is just out of order and very convoluted. So I still have to say this is not my favorite movie, but there's a lot of stuff that I do like about the movie. So it's not a great movie for me, but I still find it to have very memorable quotes in it. Memorable quotes. Hold on. Another Quentin Tarantino movie that I have to mention is Death Proof. I find this to be very boring also, because I'm not a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino, to be honest. Like, this is another movie I felt was horrible. Very horrible. Death Proof. The only thing that I liked was the ending, like a little action in the end. But it's, for the most part, this is very slow and very boring, like the rest of his movies. If you're not a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino, you understand what I'm talking about. This next movie is not my favorite, but it definitely passed my expectations, which is Jackie Chan's The Foreigner. This is one of Jackie Chan's better movies. I mean, when he's on camera. But I feel like it fell short because what's his name? I forget his name. Let me see if I can find his name in here. Okay. So Pierce Brosnan is the main character here. It's not really Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan has a lot of good stuff in this, but what fell short was that Jackie Chan wasn't the main character here. It was mostly Pierce Brosnan. And that is where it fell short. As soon as you saw the movie, you expected Jackie Chan to be the main character. And to be honest, he was not the main character in this movie, and that is the reason why it fell short. The next movie that I felt was not great. It had a little bit of comedy in it, but for the most part it was just a straightforward movie. Just straightforward. Boom. Which is Seth Rogen's Observe and Report. So I saw this movie in theaters, and when I got this movie myself later down the road, I felt it was good at first, but then when I watched it, I saw how boring, how bland, how just straightforward the story was. Just nothing special. So there is a lot of good stuff in it. Don't get me wrong. But it still falls short. So there is a lot of stuff in here that is it's just a straightforward movie. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not amazing. It's not something that I'm going to say a classic movie. So it is great. Not saying that it's the best, but it's pretty good. For what it is, it's just there. It's great. Next one that probably got a lot of controversy from Robert Downey Jr. is Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., Tropic Thunder. This one is where they all criticize Downey Jr. Where they criticize Downey Jr. for being wearing a black mask or something. I forget what it's called. Black. He made himself black. This is at first I hated this movie. At first I was like, what is this movie about? It's so boring. It's so boring. And to be honest, I don't find it boring anymore. I watched it, I understood the story, and it became better. It was very good. Not boring, but it's better than I expected. Because at first I watched it without an understanding. I just thought it was just like boring. Like eh. But now I put it higher than I did before. So Tropic Thunder. The next one I think I just got it I just picked it up in a random blind movie set or something, which is Best Buy's. This wasn't really from Best Buy. I don't know how I got it, but it's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. The only reason I have not seen this is because I have not seen the rest of Harry Potter's, the Harry Potter trilogy. In reality I've never seen a single Harry Potter trilogy. I think I saw some of it back in elementary school, and then I stopped watching it. I think I saw it back in elementary school, and then that was it. I never got to see the rest of it. So here it is, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, but with the lenticular, as you guys can see. Or if you can see it on camera, because you may not be able to see it. Next one, from the producers of Salt and Transformers, we got Halle Berry's worst. I mean, I don't know if it's the worst movie because I never seen a Catwoman, which I think I was gonna watch Catwoman when it came out, but after I just for some reason didn't go watch it back when it came out. I think in 2005, 2004. But this is a fun movie, but it's I don't know what how to say this. It's not a good movie. It's fun, but pretty dumb. Like this is like, I don't know. It's fun for the wrong reasons. I don't know. I just feel like it's fun, but for the wrong reason. So Halle Berry's Kidnap, which I got this. I thought it was gonna be better, and in reality, it's worse than I thought. It was. I mean, it's fun for what it is, but it's not. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's a good movie. It's pretty bad for Halle Berry. But what do you expect when she had Catwoman? That was even worse. Now we have my favorite movie growing up, Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke's Training Day. There you go. One of my favorite movies. Some people can have their own thing where it's boring, or it's overacting, or fake corruption from the cops, but I liked it. Interesting. Loved it. I mean, I like Denzel Washington as a person, but I like him as an actor. So I may not like certain people as humans, as I mean in their daily lives, but I may like them in their movie roles. So don't get that twisted, ladies and gentlemen. One of the worst movies I've ever seen in my whole entire life is the outrageous edition of Superstars Unleashed movie 43, which was the worst movie I've ever seen. Worst movie. And guess what? Look at the character, look at the actors in here. Let me read them to you. First off, Elizabeth Banks, Kristen Bell, Halle Berry. No surprise from Halle Berry. She did another boring movie. Kate Bosworth, another person that did that previous movie, which was really boring. Gerard Butler, Bobby Carnevale, Josh Duhamel, Anna Faris, which she's been pretty good. Anna Faris has been pretty good. Gerard Butler. Okay, then we have Richard Gere. Come on. Terrence Howard, Hugh Jackman, Johnny Knoxville. Are you kidding me? Justin Long, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Chloe Grace Moretz, Liev Schreiber, Sean William Scott, Emma Stone, Naomi Watts, and Kate Winslet did this horrible junk of movie. Come on now. Worst movie ever. And then one of the great movies that I've seen is The Prestige, which I haven't gotten it in 4K. But when it comes out in I mean, it's already out in 4K, but when I see it in stores, I will get it. If not, I'll try to get it at Amazon or somewhere else, but I'm not going to pay the ridiculous prices on Amazon. That's the reason I haven't gotten on Amazon, because Amazon, in reality, has crazy, ridiculous prices now compared to a store. So here we go with The Prestige. One of my favorite movies, which I'm trying to get in 4K to see that HDR10 or Dolby Vision. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This one I randomly got, and I kind of have to be honest, I liked it. Surprise, surprise, I liked this movie, which was The Flash, the complete third season. I haven't gotten the rest of the seasons because Best Buy doesn't have them anymore. And like I said, Target doesn't have it, and neither does Walmart. But the honest truth is that Amazon has ridiculous prices, so I'm not buying it on Amazon or eBay. Because if I buy it on Amazon, ridiculous price. If I buy it on eBay, something may be missing, or maybe a damaged box. Because everything that comes from Amazon and eBay, most of the time, is damaged. So that's just my opinion. So you may agree with me or not. The next movie I just got randomly was the double feature, The Crazies Fear Thy Neighbor, truly terrifying and suspenseful. Then I got Let Me In, which had Cody Smith McPhee and Chloe Grace Moretz. So I have to be honest, I'm I'm a huge fan of Chloe Grace Moretz because I think the first time I saw her was in Kick-Ass 1 and Kick-Ass 2, and I think Kick-Ass 1 and 2 are now in 4K also. I may be wrong, but I think both of them are in 4K, and I need to get those movies in 4K because I love me some Chloe Grace Moretz. I love her and most of the stuff she's done. So if she ever sees this, Chloe Grace Moretz, you're awesome. You're awesome. I'm a fan of you, and the first movie I saw of you, like I said, was Kick-Ass 1, 2, and 3. And there may be other movies that I've seen you in, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I missed them. I'm sorry if I've seen them and I don't remember. The next movie that people were down the road saying, "Oh, it's boring. It's not a great movie. It's just a movie that they brought out in January." Liam Neeson's The Marksman. Justice Comes Down to Him. This one is a pretty good movie, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's pretty good. And people have their things to say about this, but it wasn't as bad as people said. It's not as bad. It may be bad, but it's not as bad as people said. So I did like it. I enjoyed it. For what it is, it's pretty good. For what it is. My favorite movie growing up, my favorite movie. And I was disappointed when they came out with Monsters University. Monsters Inc. is my favorite movie growing up. I've seen I've seen the 4K on Amazon and eBay, and some people want $100 for the 4K version. I have not seen this in Best Buy. I have not seen it at Best Buy. But this is definitely one of my favorite movies other than Toy Story. This one is amazing. Wonderful, exquisite. The only thing I didn't like was when they came out with Monsters University. That was like one of the worst movies ever. Ever. Like, in my opinion, it had nothing. It was just a disaster, in my opinion. So that's the reason I never got in Monsters University. But I think I'll get it if they have a 4K version. So, one thing I do have to say about Monsters Inc. that I loved was that the only thing that I loved the most about it is the traveling that they did through the doors. It's like you could travel through the doors and you could get to other worlds, and I love that. And when I had hopes for a second movie from Monsters Inc. 2, I wasn't expecting what we got, but what I wanted was for them to explore more of the doors, to go through the doors and probably get to other places like Hawaii or Alaska or Africa or China or Italy. So I wasn't expecting what I got from Monsters University. I watched part of Monsters University and I could not finish it. Sad to say, it wasn't anything as I expected it to be. This one, I have to say, was pretty bad. Batman Year One was a very bad movie in my opinion. It wasn't as great as people make it out to be. And most of the movie has nothing to do with Batman. And I do have to agree that Batman was part of the movie here and there. But in my opinion, Batman was not the main character, was not the main person in this movie. The main person in this movie was James Gordon, which is Ben McKenzie. I don't know if this movie came out before I don't know when this movie came out, but this is where Ben McKenzie was Batman instead of his self, James Gordon. But this movie was mostly James Gordon and not Batman. Yes, Batman was in it, but it's mostly about James Gordon, his life. So it was a disappointing movie in my opinion. Then I got this three feature films: Conan, Man on the Ledge, or Man on a Ledge, and Brothers. And my favorite movie out of all these three is Brothers. I loved Jake Gyllenhaal and Tobey Maguire. This is the movie I've always been looking for a long time. Brothers is one of my favorite movies. Man on a Ledge was a great movie, but it's not something I have to say it's amazing. It's great. Look at you got Sam Worthington, Elizabeth Banks, Jamie Bell, Anthony Mackie, Genesis Rodriguez, and Ed Harris. Not my favorite movie, but it's pretty good. And then Conan, which is what's his name? The guy from Aquaman. I have to say it was horrible with that movie. Next movie we have is Fantasia. Disney's Fantasia. So it says Classics 3. I don't know what does that mean. 3. I don't get what does that even mean. 3 what? Does I'll have to check this out and see what does that mean. Classics 3. I think it was a 3 movie thing or something is weird with this. I don't know how I got this, but this says Classics 3. But I think it's like a 3-pack or something. But this is Fantasia. I've never seen this movie, and I don't think I'm planning to watch it because it's a little weird that it says it's like it's a 3-pack or something. I don't know what's with this. This just says disc 1. So if anybody can tell me if this is a 3-pack or not a 3-pack or something else, because I'm not really understanding this. So there it is. Look at it. Look at it, guys. So you guys can tell me in the comments down below what you guys think. If this is a 3-pack, this is a Disney exclusive where you have to be part of the Disney franchise or something. But you guys let me know. Next thing that I watched, this is something that I think I watched when I was a kid growing up. I watched it one time, or I kind of, what happened was that I saw it in one of my VHS tapes of Pokemon. I think I saw it through a trailer, which I was sad when I first saw the trailer. I'm like, I need to have this, and I think I watched the movie, and now I have it in Blu-ray, which I think they have a steelbook version at Best Buy, or they're probably going to have this in 4K. So it's Disney presents Studio Ghibli, a Studio Ghibli film from award-winning director. I don't know how to say his name, so I'm not going to butcher it. Kiki's Delivery Service with Kristen Dunst, Janine Garofalo, Phil Hartman, and Debbie Reynolds. And I feel like Phil Hartman is the little black cat. So there it is. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I can't really say if it's an amazing movie or not. But when I first watched it, I felt like it was boring. I mean, when I watched it back in, I think 2015, it ended up being boring. So I never finished watching it. But there it is. And it's rated G for you guys. It's rated G. The next movie is Friday the 13th, Killer Cut. I have to say, this is, in fact, the last Friday the 13th movie we've ever gotten. And to be honest, it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. It wasn't bad. The only thing that I felt really dumb about this is the ending, where they killed they killed they killed Michael. I mean, not Michael Myers. They killed this guy, whatever his name is. Jason. Jason. I forget. What's his name? Jason Voorhees. They killed Jason Voorhees. I'm getting confused with Michael Myers, and I'm also getting confused with Freddy Krueger. But this is Jason Voorhees, and this is the last time we got to see him on screen. And I have to be honest, it was good, but the ending was really dumb. They killed Jason Voorhees, but then after he came out of the water, like how? You already killed him, and now he's back out. Boom! Like this is crazy. He's back out. So I have to say, it's not. I mean, the ending was really dumb, but this movie is still pretty good. Pretty good. There's a lot of stuff that could have been better, but this is. I think this was made by. I don't know. I don't know. I just felt this movie was great, but there was some stuff that could have been better, to be honest. But it's nonetheless it's great. A movie that I'm still confused about. I'm still confused about this movie after watching it 2, 3, 4 times. Is Claire Holt and Mandy Moore 47 Meters Down. This movie is confusing and pretty dumb. Like, why would you go under the water to see sharks? Like, come on. Like, maybe Jaws is way better than this crap. But this is, like, pretty dumb. Like, you go underwater to look at sharks? Like, come on. And then you're inside the cage and it just, like, what? Just make it out. Make it weird and just make the cage, the rope rip or malfunction and just have the cage go be at the bottom. And then when you have the opportunity to go back on land, you don't go back on land because if you go up to the surface very quickly, you can die. Like come on, make a better movie than this junk, man. Make it better. I'm not saying it there was some good stuff in it, but it's still a confusing movie. So don't get me wrong, this was very, very confusing. The next movie that I have is from the Masters of Terror, Eli Roth. I think Eli Roth, after this one came out to, after doing Clown, he came out to do Spider-Man, Homecoming. I think he did Homecoming. I'm not sure if he did Far From Home, but he did Homecoming. This movie, the premise is pretty dumb, where the dad he contracts a clown for his kid's party, but then after the clown is already the clown cancels because he's booked for another gig. So the dad goes to this one house that he's selling. I think he's selling the house, and he finds a clown costume. Oh, he finds a chest with a costume inside, and at first it was better with the mop that he put on his head. At first he got a mop for a clown a wig, which was good, but I guess he wasn't satisfied, so he went into the chest that he found, and he got the clown suit and he put it on, and long and behold, that clown, what happened to the clown? He couldn't take off the suit anymore, and he became a clown. And after the stupid thing that came out of this movie was that he turned from a clown to a monster. Like that's crazy. He's not even a clown anymore. He's a monster. But the kills on here, the some of the stuff was pretty interesting, but the premise of the movie, pretty dumb. The movie itself is dumb, but some of the stuff that happened here is pretty amazing. I mean, I don't want to say amazing. I mean, it's pretty interesting, but most of the movie is just dumb. So written by Christopher Ford and John Watts. So it's still a pretty crazy movie, but some of the premise is pretty dull. The premise is dull, to be honest. Oh my gosh. From the producers of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my gosh, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a classic. But which Texas Chainsaw Massacre are they talking about? And from the producers of Insidious comes the movie Ouija? Or the Ouija? The Ouija board? Like, come on. This is one dumb movie. Like, one of the worst horror movies of all time. Very dumb. Worst movie ever, man. Like, this is just so pretty dumb. All the stuff that happens to these people are dumb. Horrible piece of crap I've ever seen. Horrible, horrible. If you ever get around to watching this, you'll be bored out of your mind. Boring. Nothing interesting. Everything revolves around what? Spirits or ghosts or some unknown crap. And if you've seen Insidious, look, some people were telling me that Insidious is a great movie. But what is my response? I saw Insidious in high school. And the reason I think I saw Insidious in high school was because one of my teachers, which I saw, I think one of my teachers thought this movie was not great because back in high school, I didn't get around to watching all these paranormal movies or these Insidious movies and all these other movies that were similar, because I did watch Poltergeist, but probably has nothing to do with this. But Insidious, as it stands alone, just Insidious, the first movie that I saw, it was pretty good. It was going great, but then the ending was pretty dull. I mean, the half of the movie became dull when they went to that other realm, like hell, or I think hell, or they went to heaven or something like that, and then they faced the demon or the devil himself. And when I saw it, I started laughing. I'm like, what the heck is this crap? You get to see the devil? Come on. Like, the devil looked silly. It looked like some fake CGI. It looked like you're watching what's this Hell? What's this name of this movie? Um I forget what's the name of this movie, but it was silly. Insidious was silly. I laughed out loud in class. I'm like, this is ridiculous. What? So some people can have their own thing of Insidious and say it's pretty good or it's pretty bad. But in my opinion, it's horrible. Next, I have Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta's Joe Pesci's Goodfellas. Now it's in 4K, so I have to be honest and say it's a pretty good movie. But if you're comparing this Martin Scorsese film to a more modern movie, like Shutter Island, or you're comparing it to what's that other movie? The Wolf of Wall Street. I'm going to say this falls short. Like my like recently, I watched Shutter Island because I saw it back in the day, and I didn't get the movie. I think I fell asleep during the movie or something, which was like it was a surprise because I just saw the movie, and I first thought it was just like when I first saw Shutter Island, I thought it was Alcatraz, something that happens in Alcatraz or something. But now that I saw the movie completely, like once again I saw it, I own the 4K version, and I watched it, and I really paid attention to the movie. I fell in love with it. Incredible movie. Incredible. At first I was like, I mean, I first watched when I got the 4K version, I fell asleep over and over and over again because I don't know. Some of the movies I just fall asleep, and then there's some movies where I'm like, I cannot fall asleep. It's like even if I don't get it. Some movies I fall asleep in, and some movies I do not fall asleep. But but then in the end, I ended up watching the movie from beginning to end, and I felt it was incredible. So so this falls short, pretty good, but nothing close to what he did with Shutter Island and The Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street was just incredible, and so was Shutter Island. Shutter Island is amazing. One of the amazing movies I've seen. So I do recommend uh, Shutter Island for you guys that love a good movie. But that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen my Blu-ray collection, and that's about it. You guys let me know what you guys think of these movies that I just showed you. Let me know which movies I should get in 4K. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, I'll catch you guys in another video.